Scotty, you probably couldn't have planned a better start to the season, a really good win against a really good Richmond outfit at home. You must be feeling really positive at the moment about that's the way we wanted to start.
Yeah, it is a positive start, but it's just a start. Good to get the 4 points. But Richmond are a really good side. They're a contested side, so it was good to test that. But run into no illusions that it's just step one of a very long campaign, even though technically it's only the 12 weeks of home and away. But we're off to a good start, and there's lots to learn from the game and lots to take into next week.
As you said, it's only a start, but when these seasons are so short, if you don't get that start, the season can almost be done. So how important is it to this first sort of almost 3-4 week block to try and get a bit of roll and build a bit of momentum?
Yeah, it's critical, and we spoke about that. And I think the main thing is that it's more the way you play as well. So you from a fixture, because the fixture's got its inequities, I suppose. We've got a fairly good fixture because we finished last year, so it's important to take advantage of that and put your foot down nice and early, and then you can sort of build into the year. So that from that perspective, it's great because we know that we do have a couple of really hard patches within the fixture, and then every game can go every way, and it starts with Gold Coast. I mean, Gold Coast are a young, unpredictable side that showed glimpses last week, and if they get their game going, then that'll be trouble.
Getting out of Sydney this week with the weather might not be the worst thing, especially if you're going up to the Gold Coast, but what are you expecting in terms of the real challenges of that battle? I mean, clearly the midfield and the ruck battle, young Havana Harris looks impressive. I mean, It's going to be a fantastic contest around the midfield there.
Yeah, it is. That's where the game will be won and lost, and Charlie Rowbottom always gives us grief, so we'll put some time into Charlie and try to quell her. I think Claudia Whitfield will come back into their side, which makes them more potent. So yeah, they're really good side with clearance and contested ball and things like that. So in the final when we played them, and last year at Henson, we tried to get them on the outside. Obviously got a new coach. I'm sure he's a very smart man, so I'm sure he's got stuff for us as well. But yeah, the game's going to be won in the inside in the contest. So it's really important we at least equalise that.
How's Zippy been this week after such a brilliant debut? Do you need to try and keep her grounded, or what's it been like?
No, she's got no earth wire. She doesn't really need it. She actually her perspective on life in general is just whatever is in front of her, she just does. So whether it's training, she's not too keen on the weather today, but she's just composed and doesn't really have the highs and the lows. And I think that's going to stand her in really good stead when she gets a little bit more attention, but also in finals and big games. And she's one of those players I think you'll be able to trust in big moments. And yeah, she's a very impressive start.
How did Chloe pull up after the first game? Obviously fantastic on the field, 4 goals, but it was her first full game back after a pretty serious injury. How has she been this week, and is she good to go this week?
Yeah, she is. She's not managed at all this week. Not really good. She pulled up well. I think credit to her on the body of work that she did to prepare her body. She did miss 2 goals though, so we did some work on that this week. But she's firing and super excited, and I think mentally she'd admit that she felt good that she could come back and have an impact, and I'm looking forward to her next level.
Do you feel like there's not as much reliance on her now, and other players are stepping up a little bit more, you're developing, that it's not all about Chloe needing to be the superstar? Yeah,
that's really important. And people say all the time, Chloe's the one, and Laura Gardner when she gets 30 plus, and but I just feel that we've got 8 or 9 players now that can really drag the team along, and that's really important. And then the rest of the team, our connection was the big thing that we tried. So over the pre-season, we made 9 changes to the squad. It was always an unknown of how they would connect together, and we did a lot of work on it. So I felt last week ticked a box with us being able to see the connection work and the shape behind the ball and how we linked each other in, used the player in the best position, all those things. And you need your superstars, every team does, and Chloe is one of those, but I feel like we bat a lot deeper with the top end talent this year.
We saw a fair bit of Amelia Martin in pre-season. She was one of the emergencies last week. Is she someone close to pushing for a debut this weekend? Yeah,
absolutely. We'll finalise it today, but she's super close. And she's just got to get through training today, and then we'll make a selection call on that this afternoon and finalise it. But Amelia's very exciting, different to Zippy in that Zippy's much more of the noticeable, flashy outside player, whereas Amelia just gets the job done. beautiful hands and a great kick at goal. So I think she'll play a lot of football for us this year.
Someone who's probably been a little bit unheralded, and especially defensively on the weekend when you were so strong, is Jazz Breeson coming over, took a lot of intercept marks and played really strong defensively. I know you've spoken about how important it was to find those role players that you could add to the team that you felt like you were maybe missing last year. What did she and maybe some of the others that you brought over, like Lulu and players like that, really added to that defensive structure?
Yeah, they've added a lot, and BT was Brena Taran, was the logical one that get all the intercepts, and we really relied on her. But it was similar to what we were talking about before, just spreading the load. And Ash Van Loon, Lulu Puller does that as well when she drops back off the wing. We can play Lulu back as well, which is really important. But Jazz and that crew, they just make a difference to us, and it's just really nice to know that you can attack the game as fast as you want, go through the corridor, do all the things that we're known for, handball receives, but if the ball does bounce back the other way, it's just good having a number of players that can shore up now, and rather than just relying on the one or two. And the back line is very competitive for spots, so it's very hard to get a game in our back line, which is the first time we've had that, and it's really nice.
There was a bit of talk before opening round last week about the Giants and Swans sharing Henson Park, that people, especially west of Sydney, going, okay, Giants should be getting back there. Is that something long term that you think Henson Park should be the Swans' own ground and that should be where the Swans play only?
Good question. I think the Henson Park is a great venue, and it's the sharing of the ground doesn't bother me one bit at all. There's a piece of us, we're competitive with the Giants, obviously, as you know. I've said enough with that, but I think the main thing is when the gloves are off and we're not playing each other in the lead-up week, it's really important that we, for New South Wales footy, do what's right for that and the growth of the game. And the second-tier competitions are really, really in a state where we just need to be able to make sure that the players that fall out of academy, that don't get on a list from the Giants and from ourselves, don't just go off and play VFLW in Victoria. So it's really important that we do that, and I think that starts with a venue, with a home of footy. So it would be nice to have a venue where we'd share with the Giants, I suppose, and for a second-tier perspective. And if that ends up being the home ground, that's great. It's our home ground for finals if we make finals. So it's an important piece for us. But I don't think we can separate the fact that we're all in it together in New South Wales, and we have a duty of care, if you like, to New South Wales football to grow that for the generations to come.